Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Bal for Rob's Reviews, and today we're diving deep into Severance Season 2, Episode 3. If you thought things were weird before, this episode takes it to a whole new level. From mysterious goats to hidden secrets about Lumon, there's a lot to unpack. So grab your snacks, sit back, and let's break it all down together. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these detailed recaps. And don't forget to share your wildest theories in the comments below. I love reading what you guys think because let's be honest, Severance keeps us guessing at every turn. The episode opens in an unexpected place far from Lumon. We find Harmony Cobell parked on a desolate, icy road about 238 miles outside a remote town called Salt's Neck. The scene is quiet but heavy, with Cobell idling in her car, lost in thought. On the seat next to her is an intubation tube labeled Charlotte Cobell. This immediately catches your attention because it's a callback to the shrine Cobell used to have in her home, which was destroyed in Season 1. This object seems to be one of the last remnants of her disturbing rituals tied to Kier. Cobell's expression flickers between grief, rage, and uncertainty. Is she mourning someone, planning revenge, or just simply a symbol of her inability to let go of the past? Whatever it is, it speaks volume about her complex relationship with Lumon. Just when it seems like she might continue her journey down this isolated road, Cobell abruptly makes a decision. She grips the wheel tightly, makes a sharp U-turn, and heads back the way she came. This moment feels symbolic. Cobell isn't just turning the car around. She's returning to a path she can't seem to escape, whether it's her obsession with Lumon or some personal vendetta that we don't fully understand yet. Back at Lumon, we shift to Mark, who's going through what appears to be a perfectly ordinary day. But something feels off. Every step he takes, every action he performs seems too calculated, as if he's forcing himself to maintain control. I think this is Mark's way of coping with everything that's happened. He's desperately trying to keep his innie and outie lives separate. But the cracks are starting to show. You can almost feel the tension in his body language, like he's barely holding it together. What do you guys think? Is Mark at the verge of a breakdown, or is he finally starting to see through Lumon's lies? Let me know in the comments. So, Mark and Hallie are on a mission to find Miss Casey, who's gone completely missing. They're sneaking through Lumon, hoping to find some clue about where she's being kept. They end up back at that infamous goat room, but wait, this time there's more. They spot this tiny hidden doorway they hadn't noticed before. Obviously, they're curious, so they squeeze through it, and what do they find? A huge, bright white room filled with rolling green hills, and yeah, just goats. Goats chilling, peacefully munching on grass like it's totally normal. Then things get weird there. Out of nowhere, they realize someone in full-on black goat costume is just standing there, silently watching them. But before they can even react, this super serious woman shows up, dressed sharply with a shiny green badge, and holding these sharp shears like she's ready for business. And then she says completely deadpan, "Have you come to kill me?" Mark and Hallie are like, "No." They explain they're just looking for Miss Casey. The woman doesn't seem surprised, but says they're in the mammalian's nurturable department, whatever that means. Then Mark, thinking fast, asked one of the most random yet brilliant questions ever. If one of your goats went missing, wouldn't you care? It's weirdly effective. The woman pauses and, clearly thrown off by the question. Eventually, she just steps aside, letting them go deeper into the strange department. So yeah, they're allowed to continue the search, but what even is this place? Why does this exist? And most importantly, where is Miss Casey? There are more vague questions than answers at this point, but one thing's for sure, Lumon is hiding something big. Now, with Dylan, who is honestly acting really strange, at first it's just a small thing. He completely brushes off Mark and Hallie when they try to recruit him for the search. It's almost like he's checked out, but then we find out exactly why Mr. Milchick tells Dylan about the new visitation wing and swears him to secrecy. Now, we already know Lumon is shady, but this secret? It's huge. Dylan is basically being told to keep his information to himself, and if he shares it, there will be consequences. This moment shows just how deep Lumon's control goes over its employees, and we can see that Dylan is starting to feel trapped. What do you all think? Is Dylan simply loyal to Milchick now, or is there something more going on here? Fast forward and we get our first big shock of the episode. Dylan's taken to the visitation wing by Miss Wang, and there he sees images of himself with his wife who's waiting for him. Gretchen walks in, and here's where things get really interesting. For a second, I honestly thought Lumon was pulling a fast one on him and that this woman wasn't really his wife. No, it's actually Gretchen, and she's clearly nervous and confused. She mentions someone named Seth in front of Dylan, and he has no idea who that is. Miss Wang quickly shuts it down, which makes you think, how deep does this control go? Then Gretchen shows Dylan a photo of their family dressed up as cowboys. It's a cute moment, but what really stands out is Dylan's reaction when he asked we live in a cattle ranch. This moment hit me hard because Dylan has been fantasizing about how amazing his outie life must be, but here we learn that his outie life isn't as glamorous as he thought. His outie doesn't have a thing. In fact, he's kind of a failure. What's your take on this? Was it surprising that Dylan's outie isn't as cool as he imagined? Now, this part was super emotional. Gretchen and Dylan share an intimate moment, and it's a little awkward but real. She tells him he loves him, and Dylan's reaction was, well, it's clear that Dylan doesn't know how to process the emotions he's feeling in that moment. His confusion, his disillusionment with his outie life, and the love he's receiving. It's all coming together in a way that makes Dylan more conflicted than ever. So, what do you think? Will this moment make Dylan more loyal to the company, or will it push him to break free from Lumon? Let's dive deeper into Milchick's situation. The board is showering him with praise, but the way they do it seems really strange. They give him these blacked out portraits, which feels more like a mind game rather than genuine recognition. This has me wondering, what's the board's real goal here? Are they truly appreciating his hard work, or are they using him for something more sinister? It's like they're keeping him in dark, giving him rewards that don't really make sense. Almost like they're trying to manipulate him into playing their game without fully understanding it. What do you think the board's agenda is? Do you think Milchick is being used without realizing it? I'd love to hear your theories in the comments because this part of the story is seriously intriguing. So, Irving B goes to optics and design, and while he's there, he bumps into Felicia. They catch up. Things get interesting when Irving shows her his drawings of Bird G. Felicia stops when she sees a drawing of a down elevator and asks him, how do you know about the experts hall? That's a huge question, right? Felicia explains that they used to go to the experts hall, but now they send someone else. She doesn't give away too much, but you can tell she knows where it is. But Irving doesn't tell Mark or Helly about it. He only shares drawings with Dylan. He doesn't trust Helly after what happened before, maybe. Could she be hiding something, or is she working with someone on the outside? Irving's definitely keeping his guard up. So now we've got more questions. Where is the experts hall? And maybe Miss Casey is there? Could Helly be hiding something? What do you think? Going back to Cobell, after leaving Lumon, she suddenly has second thoughts. She turns her car around and heads back to the parking lot where she talks to Helena. Cobell tells her that Lumon needs her to finish the Cold Harbor project and that Milchick isn't the right person for the job anymore. But just as they're about to head inside, Cobell gets a strange feeling. Maybe it was from the bodyguard? She stops, turns back to her car, and speeds off, leaving Helena behind. Why? Did she sense danger, or did she just change her mind? What was she afraid of? Helena watches her go, and it makes you wonder what would have happened if Cobell had gone inside. Was there something darker waiting for her? And what's really going on with Cold Harbor and Mark S? Do you think Cobell made the right choice by leaving? So while Natalie's busy with Milchick, she also pays a visit to Rickon. She's all over him, hyping up his book The You Are and praising it like crazy. When his wife Devon walks in, she's greeted by Rickon's excitement and Natalie's overly sweet smile. Honestly, it's kinda creepy. Natalie tells Devon Rickon's words have had a profound effect on our workers and adds that they want to make a special version of this book for just the Eenies. When Devon asks what's wrong with the original, Natalie casually explained there's a certain verbiage Eenies respond to better. Yeah, things get a little uncomfortable and Devon quickly leaves. Later, Devon heads to Mark's place to fill him in on the weird encounter. So what's going on here? What does Lumon really want with Rickon's book? And why are they so interested in these changes? Finally, let's dive into one of the most mind-bending and intense parts of the episode. So Mark and Devon's plan? Honestly, it's kind of absurd, but it works. At the beginning of the episode, we see Mark timing his entrance from the car to the elevator, and it's not immediately clear why he's doing this, but as it all unravels, we realize the goal is to burn a message into his cornea using a bright light. And that message? It's the episode's title, Who is Alive? So, why does Mark want to know who's alive? Well, it all goes back to that shocking moment from the party, where Mark's Eenie shouted she's alive. I've been wondering who he meant, and now Mark's determined to figure it out, even if it means going to extreme lengths. At first, he's skeptical about this whole cornea burning thing, but after that weird and intense run-in with Cobell and the craziness that keeps unfolding, he's desperate for answers. Mark practices the procedure in his car, staring into a bright light with the words glued to it, counting down the seconds to see how long the image stays burned into his vision. It's kind of eerie watching him obsess over it, but that's not even the craziest part of this episode. Ragabi, who finally returns after being gone since season 1, we all remember when she and Mark first met, and how their meeting was interrupted by Grainer, who, by the way, Mark ended up killing in a brutal fashion after grabbing his keycard. Ragabi told Mark back then that his Eenie would know what to do with the card. Sounds familiar, right? Fast forward to this episode when Helly asked Mark what they'll do if they find Miss Casey. Mark gives the same response, my outie will know what to do. But back to Ragabi, she shows up and she's not having any of Mark's ridiculous plan. She straight up tells him that he could blind himself and that there are already safeguards in place in the elevator to prevent this sort of thing. Even if Mark somehow manages to get the message through, how the heck would his Eenie send a message back to him? Mark's not backing down though. He asks, is Gemma alive? And Ragabi responds, she was the last time I saw her. This triggers a new idea that there's a safer and better way to send messages back and forth. Reintegration. This is what Petey did, and we all know how that ended, with his death. But Ragabi assures Mark she's much better at it now. So, as usual, Mark agrees and they head to his basement to begin the reintegration procedure. And the episode ends right when the procedure starts to take effect. Now, we're left wondering, what's going to happen next? How will the reintegration process unfold? All in all, this episode of Severance is a masterpiece. It checks all the boxes: intense character development, suspense, and mind-bending theories. We finally get to see both the inside and outside worlds, which give us a deeper look into these characters' struggles and motivations. From Milchick's bizarre gift to Dylan's weird visitation, which honestly, it feels like something out of a prison movie, and to Irving's discovery of the expert's hall. This episode is packed with juicy plot twists. But of course, the highlight is Mark's procedure, which the tensions building up to his decision to go ahead with reintegration. This episode really dug deep into the mysteries we've been waiting to solve, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds next week. There's so much to unpack here, and I'm here for it all. Well, that wraps up for our breakdown today. Severance keeps delivering those twists and turns, and I can't wait to see what happens next. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. I'd love to hear your thoughts. theories, and any mind-blowing moments from the episode, so drop them in the comments below. What do you think's coming up next for Mark, Cobell, and the whole crew? Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care!